I'm going to show you how to cook air-fried spatchcock chicken. Let's take a look at the first 360-degree view of our spatchcock chicken process. Let's go. For spatchcock chicken, you can spatchcock your chicken and then you're going to lay it down in your pan. Now, you can season it outside the pan or season it inside the pan. It's your choice. I'm going to season it in the pan. The ingredients for today's cook are some bird boost. We want to brine our chicken overnight. I used 6 cups of water with 2 scoops of the bird boost. And for today's seasoning, we're going to be injecting a little bit of my Lily's Q Carolina barbecue sauce underneath that skin. We're going to use some Knotty Wood BBQ Rub and some Neil Serap S.P.G.R, that is a salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary, and we're going to coat that on the outside, and we're going to have an incredible crispy skin. Now, the one thing about spatchcock chicken that's important is that you want to make sure when you're doing this that you dry the skin off completely from the brine. There's no need to wash it off in the sink. The other trick that I love to do is you want to leave a little bit of the brine in the bottom here of the air fryer. What that's going to do is that's going to catch any grease or the fat that drops down, and it's going to hold down your smoke. If you cook any type of fatty food, bacon especially, and you have nothing on the bottom, a lot of people will complain that their air fryers smoke. If you put the little bit of liquid in the bottom, you will avoid that smoke. Now, the first thing you want to do is, I recommend getting a glove. You don't need one. You can always wash your hands, but for this process, I'm going to be touching raw chicken. I'm going to keep this on the raw chicken, and it gives me a free hand to do other things and not contaminate the containers of my seasoning as I do that. So first thing we're going to do, pat down this chicken, and we're going to make sure that the outside is dry. What we're going to do is we're going to oil that skin, but we don't want to mix oil and water because oil and water doesn't mix very well. And it's very important that when you do oil the skin, it's just the oil, because then your seasonings will stick on top of it. And a lot of people call a liquid they put on their skin a binder. They use mustard in ribs and other things. And this isn't a binder. This is really a crisping agent. So by putting olive oil on this, you will get this skin super, super crispy, along with the sugar content and some of the rubs. That will also caramelize during the process, and you'll have an incredibly tasty, crispy chicken that'll get you wanting to do spatchcock chicken in the air fryer all the time. Now, I turned over the chicken. We're going to season it really well. When your chicken's too large, you'll see there's actually a bone in here that I actually cut with my cleaver. I recommend getting a cleaver. You basically just put it down here. It splits that bone right open. Then you can go ahead and push that down, spread that out, and you want to make sure that you start seasoning with the skin side down. When we're finished seasoning, we're going to turn it over, dry off that skin, make sure it's really dry. Then we're going to apply our process that I'm going to show you, and you'll have an incredible air-fried chicken. Now, when I'm seasoning a chicken, you can do it a couple different ways. There's no right way and there's no wrong way. I like to apply the salt layer first. That's going to go ahead and get on that meat. It's going to extract a little bit of moisture, which is nice because that's going to actually allow everything to bind on there really well. So you don't need to put on a binder. We'll go ahead and apply this. This is the Neil Serap salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary. And I thought it would be a fantastic flavor because rosemary on chicken is really, really fantastic. We're going to go ahead and coat that liberally. Don't be afraid. It won't be too much. And then we're going to go and turn it over and do the same thing on the other side after we apply the next rub, which is my Knotty Wood barbecue. And this is actually a rub that has a little bit of a sugar content in it. It has some Japanese spices, and it gives an incredible color when that skin crisps. So you want to make sure and coat that liberally. You cannot go too heavy with this at all. Now, when you're done seasoning the backside, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to dry off that skin again and make sure that it's super dry before we apply the rest of the process. Now we have the chicken turned over. We're going to do our final drying just to get off any residual moisture that's on there. And then we're going to season it up. You notice I didn't put any oil on the bottom side. That's because there's no skin. It's not needed. We're going to let that heat come through everything and permeate that meat. Now we have our skin dry. Now one optional thing you can do is if you have time, if you're going to brine your chicken, it's always good when you take it out after 24 hours, you can dry it off really well, put it in the refrigerator, and that will extract all the moisture after about 6 to 8 hours. If you'd like to, that's an easy way to dry it off, and then you really won't have to go through the paper towel process. Now for the skin side of this, we're going to go ahead and start with our olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is all you need. we do not want to go heavy on this. You don't want to sop it on. You want to basically get just a really super light coating. I put it in a little container so I can see without squirting it all over. And we're just going to brush it like so. Really, really light. Because if you do it too heavily, you're going to cause a problem and get too much moisture on that skin. And you may have some areas that actually crisp up and some that don't. So you just want to make sure to brush this really lightly. And we're going to go all over the skin areas on the wings, the breasts, and the thighs. And make sure, again, it's just a really light coating. Some people like duck fat spray. However, I have found that using in the air fryer, the duck fat spray is a very, very high heat and smoke resistant oil or fat, just like avocado oil. And I want to get that crispy, delicious skin. So there we go. Olive oil is finished. Nice little glisten here on the chicken. We don't want to go very heavy. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save our rubs for last, but we're going to go ahead and use our Lily Q's. I made an injection. This is the Carolina Gold sauce that I love. It's a mustard based. That little bit of that hit, that vinegary mustard flavor, along with the sweet and the salt, the pepper, the rosemary, really makes an incredible combination. So when you bite in that chicken, you get that outer crispiness with that salty, sweet flavor, and then you get the inner meat, which has a little bit of that mustard hit to it. It's absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna go ahead and lift up the skin. We don't wanna puncture the skin and stick through it, but we wanna actually go underneath the skin, and we're gonna go ahead and inject our chicken really gently under here. And I'm just gonna go on the top surface of this and give about half of it on each side as I go down. I'm gonna lay it in, and I'm actually not really puncturing the meat. I'm actually sliding this underneath and just hitting the very surface of the skin underneath. And we're gonna go ahead and then push this all the way in, and that will allow us to get that mustard flavor as we go all the way through. You can see the skin popping up, just what I want, because that is right underneath the skin. Go ahead and move that around a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the other side one more time. I wanna see that skin kind of puff up. Just like so. Move that around. All right, we're gonna do this just in the breasts. We're not gonna worry about the legs or the wings. You can, but for this process, I'm just doing the breast because the thighs and the wings are gonna come out amazing. They always come out juicy, and there's really no need for that. The breast, however, as you know, is a part that can dry out on a chicken. Cooking a chicken to well done, which is 165 or higher, which a lot of people do, dries out the chicken. If you use an air fryer, you should be able to crisp this skin up, monitor their breast, and pull it at around 152 degrees, and then I let the chicken rest, and that allows the pasteurization process to complete. The chicken's safe to eat, and it's gonna be much juicier than 165 degrees. Now we have our air fryer, and we're gonna set our air fryer to 360 degrees for about 40 minutes, and then we're gonna check the temperature, but we're gonna do it while it's in the air fryer using our wireless thermometer. It's very important to make sure this meat does not get overcooked. You can go to 165, but I'm gonna try to do it a little bit lower because that way we'll get nice juicy meat on the inside. We're gonna crank the heat up towards the end of our cook around the last 15 minutes. But for the first 45 minutes or so, we're gonna go at 360 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm gonna take my wireless thermometer, we're gonna place this here in the chicken, right in the breast, in the center. And then we're gonna take another one. We're gonna go ahead and put this in the thigh area and make sure we can see that thigh meat and what that's doing. And that'll give us a good measurement of our cook. Let's go ahead and start it up. 360 degrees for 45 minutes. Now, this is absolutely crispy, delicious skin, no flabby skin. I just love the crispiness of this. That's my favorite part. That is so good. Absolutely perfect. Hope you like this video. Drop a comment. Please like this, share with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to see my other cooking videos, including the 360 air cam that you saw in this video today. It's a first, and we have many more to come. Until the next one, smoke on, baby!